Okay, good evening everyone. I am kesZu and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Alexandra and Denis from Unfrozen Studio, which is developer of the upcoming game Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era. Hi Alexandra, hey Denis, nice to see you.
Hey,
Hello.
hey. Hi, chat. Nice to see you all.
Nice to meet you guys.
Okay, so it's been one day since the announcement of your new game, since the release of the game trailer. I personally find it hard to contain my excitement, and how about you?
Well, it
think-
was pretty difficult time for us. We're a bit exhausted on games. It's a really great event, and we're definitely satisfied with the announcement. I guess everything went well. After all, we're working for you guys, but it was very difficult for us to predict what will happen. And we're definitely happy that the overall reaction to our project is mostly positive. So it's great to see you, and it's great that we're starting good.
I think everyone at the studio had 2 hours of sleep combined over this period because we've been so anxious before and we are so excited now, and the feedback is very, very warm and it's so overwhelming.
Nice. How do you rate fans' reaction? Are you satisfied?
It's very, very we have huge boots to fill. We understand that. Dennis said today that we're not just making a game; we're working with a myth and a legend, an emotion for a lot of people, and we very much understand that. So we honestly were cautious that people might be cautious towards us. And what it was so nice to see that I think that people can understand rather clearly what we are trying to do here and what our goals are. So we're happy that we managed to communicate that, and that's the most important thing. So yes, thanks to everyone who's been excited. Believe me, all the people that have been working so hard for this 4 years are reading your comments and are going, wee.
Yeah, finally, after all this time, after all this hard development, we finally see the reaction. It's also pretty great, and we definitely understand how much responsibility we have, what a serious burden we have, and how it's important to do everything perfectly. And that's actually one of the reasons why we're here, because the feedback of the community is quite important for us. It's everything. Again, we're making the game for you.
Yeah, that's right. Given that I'm active player and organizer of tournaments in Heroes 3, most of my questions will be about multiplayer. But on the other hand, if you want to talk a little more about the lore, about the campaign, single player mode, go ahead. Yeah, in addition to our viewers, Alexandra and Denis have access to the chat, so feel free to ask questions. Just please don't spam.
Okay.
So my first question, and I think the most common question in the community is about soundtrack. Do you know who will be the composer of soundtrack in Olden Era? And you can share that to us.
So this is the thing that's all those important actions that have to do with presentation, with the cinematics, with the music, basically with the IP's legacy, are done by the publisher, so by Ubisoft. This is up to them. What I can say is that our approach to the soundtrack is the same as it is to the rest of the game. We want to combine the old and the new. So people who have started the screenshots that we've shown already have seen that some structures are familiar, like the Dragon Utopia, while other are completely new and unique to Jadamir and to the new lore. And it's the same with a lot of gameplay features as well. So they combine the familiar and the fresh. And it will be the same with the soundtrack. So you'll hear some familiar tunes and you will also hear some new music. And that is all that we can say for now.
Okay, can't wait for the music. My question to you is: are you following the current esport Heroes 3 scene? Maybe you have heard about the 25th anniversary championship.
Yes, we are. Dennis, please go.
Hey, come on.
Okay, yes, we are very much following the Heroes of Might and Magic competitive scene, and we analyzed it while making the game. We actually try to find ways that our game can respond to the demands of the competitive community as well as the single player community and the rest of the hero lovers. So yes, and we also had in-depth conversations and interviews with a number of tournament players. under NDA. So we did our research and tried to gauge what those people, like what you people actually want and need to make sure the competitive experience is better. And we really strive to make it so that Olden Era welcomes you if you want to play it competitively.
Yeah, we're all fans of the Heroes multiplayer. We actually have some kind of Heroes 3 pro gamers inside the team. And obviously it was the goal from from the first few days of the development to satisfy the multiplayer community and to make, probably, we definitely believe that the Heroes can become the real cyber sport in the future. The really nice discipline, and it's actually is in country, but I guess it became way more popular. That's why, as Alexandra said, from the beginning, we started to check the expectations of the community, and we decided to use some kind of scientific approach. That's why we make deep interviews with some programmers under the NDA, and hopefully we will be able to share these interviews. We discussed every possible aspect of the Heroes multiplayer, and to be sure that what we are doing fits with the expectations of the people.
You have no idea.
Of the ones who actually playing the game and playing it very actively.
Yeah, you have no idea how much I'm happy about this, to hear that. Because we are trying to do everything to make esports in Heroes 3, but it's not easy. It sounds it will be easier in Olden Era. So I have some questions about this. Maybe most of the games, competitive games in Heroes 3 are based on a similar scheme and playing around units such Angels, Wyverns or Cyclops, which we obtain from unit banks. Do you have any ideas how to change this? I mean, not playing with the same units over and over again.
Yes, we thought about that a lot because we appreciate how people have optimized the gameplay of Heroes of Might and Magic over the years, and they found this, perfect optimal strategies. Like the game became much faster, much more dynamic when played competitively, for example. But yes, it does. It can feel a bit samey using the same angels over and over. So one thing that we've done to alleviate that is. We have external dwellings that work the same as Griffin Conservatories. So like you defeat its guard and you grab units, but we have them for each faction. So even if, you want to play via external dwellings, at least you can find different creatures there. So your army will become more different. There are also things that influence this gameplay indirectly. For example, we have faction laws, which are a set of perks. Basically, like every hero in Heroes of Might and Magic gains perks in the form of skills. In Olden Era, your kingdom itself will also get perks, a choice of perks like from a tree, from an upgrade tree. And the thing about it is that it's tied to your original faction. So even if you grab neutral units and like you fight your opponent with the units that you've hired in an external dwelling, your starting selection of perks will still depend on the faction you started as. So the same units can play differently, and the same strategy can unfold in a different way because of that. That's an indirect thing, but we hope that it will influence the way people approach it. There are also advanced things in our random map generator that kind of balance it out. So first of all, you don't necessarily get the dwellings of your starting faction near it. You are more likely to get them, but you can also sometimes get a different dwelling, which again hopefully makes people improvise and adjust their strategies to the actual situation on the map. And it also, I believe, Dennis, please correct me if I'm wrong, is possible to generate a map where you will get a bit fewer dwellings, but for example, more artifacts. So again, we want to make sure that like people are dealt different hands because we feel that the fun and the skill in strategy games like Heroes of Might and Magic come from being able to improvise, to come up with like new ideas and new strategies on the spot and use the tools that you are given. And we want those tools to be various, to be varied, to avoid a situation where like every match is played the same with the same optimal strategy. And one more thing that is like last but not the least is that we will have ways to collect statistical data and analyze it mathematically. So one thing that leads to over-optimization is like when there are clearly winning strategies. And if we feel that, for example, some creature or some strategy is overpowered, we can also like buff something else, to make sure that people keep experimenting. So we have all the tools we need to make sure that the game is always checked for for broken builds, basically, and control that.
Yeah, I think one of the most funny parts about the heroes, because we try to make every game different, everything different, and for somehow give the player the freedom to adapt his own strategy against this exact map, against this exact obstacle, and this exact opponent. So to use different ones.
Oh, it sounds like that the town you choose on the beginning has more impact for your game style for the wall map, right?
And, again, the funny thing about, for example, Heroes 2 was the castle for the factions was very different. So we definitely feel that making the factions different is a good way to let the people demonstrate their skills based on that, and again make every match interesting.
There's a question from a chat. Will some of the stats collected from lobby games be available to players as well?
Excuse me, some of the stats collected.
No, I mean statistics.
Statistics.
Yeah.
It's not actually from lobby, it's from the game itself. So we can collect, we are able to collect the data. It's one of the things which let us to make the proper balance for the game. So we can collect the data. How many times, and what's the percentage of, what's the pick rate of this exact faction, and what's the pick rate of that exact faction or this unit, and what's the win rate of this exact strategy of combining of the units of the factions and so on. So it will allow us to do the proper balance, which like in every, obviously, like in every competitive game. So answering the question, we will probably reveal some stats, but I guess only after we will make our own research on that.
Okay. Will there be any ranking system in the game? If so, what will it look like? Will it separate for each of the 3 models? I mean,
yes.
For arena,
Yes.
one hero, and normal playstyle?
Yes, there will be a ranking system, and yes, it will work exactly like that. So we've heard that players that enjoy single hero modes are sometimes frustrated by the combined ladder system. So in Olden Era, we will have, you will have an online multiplayer profile, and the 3 modes that we currently offer will be listed there. So you will have a separate rating for arena, a separate rating for classic mode, and a separate rating for a single hero mode.
Okay.
And there will be, of course, leagues like in StarCraft, like in League of Legends. So it will be, for example, Golden League, Diamond League, and so on. And so on. So I think it's pretty interesting to let the people to climb forward for their goals.
Okay, and a kind of seasonality maybe will be implemented. I mean, the ranks reset every, 6 months, and with some rewards for top players.
I can't reveal any information about the rewards, but we'll think about it. Yeah, but obviously, like in any competitive games, it's pretty nice it's pretty obvious. This system works pretty well. Again, it's in Hearthstone and League of Legends and so on. So what's the point not to use it?
Okay, fine. So competitive play in Heroes 3 takes too long. Do you have any ideas to shorten it?
So first of all, one way that it can be shortened was already mentioned. We have different game modes. I personally think that it makes sense that a match in classic Heroes of Might and Magic can be long. This is the experience that some people want and like. So it would make sense to just try to make the way more casual, to remove that. Why? That's what people want. But we also have one hero, a single hero mode, and we have an arena for people who want to jump straight into the action. But there are also ways that even a classic match can be made a bit quicker. So, for example, we will give an option to make animations faster. I mean, it sounds like a no-brainer, but still has to be mentioned. We have auto battles, which like are triggered before the battle. So if a battle is trivial and you win with no losses, you just press accept result. Again, save some time. We will have simultaneous turns, of course, and we are now working on and experimenting with how much we can prolong the period of simultaneous turns. So we want to make it basically as long as possible to make sure that time is saved for the players and they don't have to like waste their time waiting for the opponent. We will have a chess timer both on the adventure map and in battles. Again, limiting playtime, so making sure that like you have to think fast and act fast as well. Those are some of the ways that we are using to basically to make the game as long as it to make a match as long as it needs to be and not longer.
Okay, that was my okay. Yeah.
For competitive play, I think there is some kind of the things which again to the players' expectation for the from other games. For example, I guess the match in League of Legends lasts around from 30 to 45 minutes usually, and same with Counter-Strike and StarCraft, so on. So it's one of our goals is definitely to try to make the match shorter, and also again it will help a lot to the organizers of the event. So they will be able to actually predict how long each match will take time. So it's also quite not 4 hours with different I know that we all know that some matches in the Heroes can last 10 hours, 12 hours, and
even more.
so yeah. So different win conditions, just timer, experimenting with templates and so on. It's our most priority things, most priority ideas, and obviously the
Yeah, that was my next question. I wanted to ask about simultaneous turn, but you said that we can expect that in the game, right?
Absolutely.
It's already in the game.
Okay.
It's already in the game. We are experimenting with that. We definitely want them last. I told you about the interviews. So everyone said that simultaneous turns are a great thing. So now we're experimenting with conditions so we will be able to let the players to prolong the simultaneous turns as much as possible.
Actually, I remember at least one person saying that she actually prefers consecutive turns because it's as a streamer it gives her time to like go out and make some tea, interact with chat, and like think about her next actions. So I think it's important to mention that while we have these rules set for the templates that we provide officially, you will be able to set up any type of game in a lobby with friends. So like if you want to play without simultaneous turns, you will be able to adjust that as well, if you're like a different type of player.
Yeah, for some reason.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
I
mean, people are different,
But again, most of the people said that when you force it to wait your opponent's turn for 20, 30 minutes, it's some people would tell us that it's some kind of torture. It feels terrible in modern time because everyone value their time and they have the right to have their part of the fun from the match. So yeah, it's one of the priorities. And again, different win conditions will help us with that.
totally agreed. Finally, you can play your own game on your own rules in lobby, right? So another question is, do you have any ideas to reduce RNG but keep the game exciting?
So one of the here's the thing about RNG. It is compelling thing because you don't want your game to be fully predictable. There is fun in RNG, you know, they're like unexpected comebacks and sad unexpected losses. But we want to alleviate the extremes of the RNG. For example, one system that we use for that is our so-called Magic Observatory system. It's a bit complicated to explain without showing the UI. It's easier to understand with the UI, but what is important is that you will learn new spells by constructing mage guilds in your cities. But if you happen to not get a spell you really, really need, you will be able to buy it for a unique resource. That resource is expensive, difficult to obtain, so it's not like you'd be able, you know, to just run around and grab everything. No, it will still be a challenge, but you will be able, you know, to grab that one specific thing that you need for your strategy, but didn't get. And that's just one example of us, you know, like curbing the extremes of RNG. We also analyzed the random map generator a lot, and I mean like a lot. We Dennis, can you tell a bit more about our research?
Some kind of semi-scientific approach. Long story short, we generated around 500 Jabus crosses, and analyzed each map, each section of the map, and because some pro gamers said that, all right, around from 15 to 30% of my games which I play are lost at the beginning. Because it's pretty obvious that I lost. And we decided to, okay, we believe in this, let's try out. So we generated this 500 maps, and we got some interesting statistics that, yes, around 15 to 20% of the maps which were generated are unplayable. So we're trying to avoid, because you literally realize that you lose from the beginning. So we're trying to avoid this thing and trying to reduce this RNG thingy, but at the same time, again, keeping the RNG part of the fun for the heroes. So every game should be different, and after all, it's not chess, so it should be fun after all.
For me, a person who played more than 4,000 of Jibus Cross, it sounds good. Really, really good. So, also, you told us about Jibus Cross, and it was what I want to ask you about. Have any templates been created along the lines of those in Heroes 3? Like Jibus Cross, maybe 6LM Dual or something?
The game will launch in early access with a selection of templates that are, yes, based on the templates that are popular with the community. And one thing to keep in mind is that we have some different types of structures and buildings and rules for the map generator as well. So we are currently considering making like several versions of Jabus Cross, for example, a classic version that would be like completely similar to how it's played in the community now, but also maybe like an alternative version that uses some of the new structures that we offer, you know, as a suggestion to the community. So like try playing it this way. If people like it, great. If people don't like it, well, you know, we tested a hypothesis. So that's why we actually need early access. The game will release in early access with 6 factions. It's feature complete. It has a lot of content. It could have been a full release. But we feel that we need more time to interact with the community, to gather the data on how people actually play the game. And experimenting with templates is one of the things that we'll do in this process as well. We also have a template editor. And we intend to give that to the community as well, because we know, having analyzed how it works, that no one is more talented at creating new templates than the community. So we feel that if you guys have access to that editor, you yourself will be able to create the templates that you need and maybe find ways to use the new features that we've added to the game in ways that didn't, you know, cross our minds. And we'll look very, very attentively to what you do with the template editor. And like if some templates are popular with the community, I mean, like some content maker made templates, player-made templates, are popular with the community, would be honored and very happy to approach the makers with a suggestion to maybe make them official. It will obviously be up to the creators, but this is something that we'd be thrilled to do.
Yeah, we will just add them in matchmaking. Why not? Why not? in the ranking system.
Okay, you said about template editor, and according to this, does template editor support mirror templates? Of course, if you know what is a mirror template.
Yeah.
It's been no.
There will be different templates. We are trying to be careful with mirror templates because some people say they are a bit boring, and
I'm actually one of these people, but I had to ask.
Some kind of cyber sportish, yeah, some kind of cyber sportish. But everything is possible without generator. We can generate total determination, for example. It's not a problem, or total randomness. So because we worked, the random map generator was our priority from the beginning, so it's pretty flexible. So we can use the mirror templates as well, and create them using our own template editor and include them somehow. So, but we will see how they will work with the community, because again, the reaction when we ask people about mirror templates, the reaction was different. Some of the programmers told us that they are perfect, and some of them said that we prefer more random.
Okay, my next question will be about spectator mode. Do you plan something like this, or it is maybe now in the game? I do not hide that it would help a lot in running tournaments and esports in this game.
Well, it's again, literally everyone told us about. People told us about the spectator mode as one of the most important features, and about the references now. So again, it's one of our priorities, because it will help a lot to broadcast the streams and so on, and also our multiplayer network system will help with that. It's absolutely possible to implement that feature, and we're already working on it.
Okay, good to see that.
And the same with replace. So you will be able to record your game, and after the match, you can see what you did, what your opponent did. You can check for the cheating. If he clicks for the, too many times he clicks in the dark side of the map, there's definitely something happening.
Okay.
So why not? It's quite funny stuff, which again works in other games like StarCraft and League of Legends.
Okay, do you plan to introduce some kind of anti-cheat to make easier way to find cheaters in game? Because esports means some cheaters sometimes.
Well, of course, yes, but we definitely do not want to reveal to give potential teachers more information about it yet. So the answer is yes, of course. Yeah. So answer is yes, of course, but we will not tell you exactly what we'll do.
Okay, so it's all about my, competitive questions, esport questions, more simple questions now. Are there puzzles and grails in towns?
Are there puzzles and grails?
Grails, yeah.
Yes, there is the Grail, and you can find it and you can build it. But we also want this mechanic, this feature, to be used more actively than like the thing with like opening the map and Heroes 3 and digging and everything. So the way to obtain it will be different. It's rather fun. I won't reveal it yet. Let's talk about it later. But basically, we want to make it so that players build grails more often than they used to.
Okay.
Different mechanism.
Completely different. Yeah.
Well, puzzle was fun, in 1999. We will see.
It was charming, but it was like people didn't use it.
Who knows? It's not difficult to implement, but we found a different way to make it more popular.
Okay, that's good to hear. But you can build grails more often, but it won't be such OP like in Heroes 3, right?
Yes, it's more balanced, but it's still a very strong structure that might change the way you play the game, the match. But no, it's not not the conflux type of Grail, definitely.
No all spells for single building, right?
Nope, nope.
Okay, a skill considered by some to be OP, diplomacy. Will it be in the game?
Yes. You will be able to, and the basic principle behind it is the same. So when you encounter enemies, they gauge the strength of your army and they may consider joining. But since the skill is OP, we've changed the mathematical formula a bit and the way that opponents gauge your army. So basically the skill is there, but not as OP.
Okay. Will war machines be available? I mean, ballistas, first aid tent, or ammo cart?
I believe that we will have a ballista. Not
on the
sure.
siege, on the siege.
Yes, during the siege,
And you can actually control it. You will be able to actually control it. It will not be, it will be separate entity behind the grid of the map, but you will be able to somehow manage.
As for the rest of them, we really like the idea and they feel very nostalgic, but we also feel that they didn't do enough, at least in the vanilla game. So we have a twist on them. Again, won't reveal what it is exactly, but the twist has to do with unique faction abilities. So one of the things that we do with the game is ensuring that each faction has its own style of gameplay. Like Heroes 3 had it with Necropolis, so necromancers had necromancy, a unique approach to building an army. In Olden Era, each faction will have some sort of a unique twist or unique factional ability. And one of the factions that are yet to be revealed will have a unique factional thing that kind of resembles War Machine, let's say that.
Okay, so one of the most important questions, in my opinion, do you plan to develop the game after its official release? I mean, new cities, objects, units, etc.
You mean do we plan to support the game post-release?
Yeah.
Of course. First of all, we will have it in early access, and then we have a full roadmap of how the game will progress from early access to release, and we will add new features and expansions during that period for free, of course. So we will keep adding stuff. But I feel that in modern gaming, especially if we want the game to thrive and if we want to support the competitive community, it wouldn't make sense to not support it. So yes, of course, we are very much committed to the long run with Olden Era.
That's what I want to hear. That's all my questions, to be honest. But as I said before, you can read the chat, so maybe you can catch some interesting questions from the chat, or maybe you want to talk as something more about lore or something.
Or
Yes, Alexandra would be sorry for Alexandra would be happy to say.
Well, I actually really liked. There was a question. So the game takes place on Jadamir, on Aneroth. So nostalgic world from Heroes 1 to 3 that we're getting an opportunity to return to, and that is great. I saw a question some time ago in the chat. Someone asking if the campaign will have several endings. And I'm so excited to say that it will be non-linear. So you will be able to make choices in quests, you will be able to choose from a number of missions and influence the outcome of events. And I think that's very good. As a narrative designer, I think it's very, very cool. And one more thing where you will be able to make choices is unit upgrades. Because another question I saw in chat was people asking, hey, do units have several upgrades? And the answer is yes. So the game will have neutral units as well as factional units. And neutral units don't have that, but every factional unit has two types of upgrades. It's not like the 1 to 3, it's more like a fork. So an upgrade and a side grade, so to speak, an alt grade, we call it. Basically, the idea is that the way it works is that you construct an upgraded building, and then both types of upgrades become available to you. So you don't have to, like, it's not a lifetime commitment. You don't have to choose it forever. For example, the basic skeleton is a basic skeleton, and when you create the upgraded building, you can keep buying either skeleton captains, which are stronger skeletons, or skeleton archers, who are not much stronger, but obviously ranged. So you can keep choosing which type to buy, and you can flip them back and forth for a price. But again, we feel that it gives a lot of flexibility in build creation and in army creation, and it's just fun, you know. To even if you play as a single faction, you will still have variety within it, and there still might be surprises. And yeah.
Okay, I see the interesting question here. Will there be a morale system known from Heroes of Might and Magic 3 in game?
Yes. It works a bit differently, but there is the morale and luck system. One thing that we are currently experimenting with is so in Heroes 3 you have from like -3 to +3 morale, except for the undead and constructs and elementals who are always neutral. In Olden Era, different types of creatures can have different limits. So, like, dragons might be different, some magic creatures might be different, and the maximum and minimum morale overall are 5 and not 3. So it's a bit more granular. But generally speaking, morale is there, and generally speaking, it works the same. So it gives you a chance to make a second turn or to lose a turn.
Okay, what sort of single-player content will be available in-game from the start? How long is the campaign? How many custom maps will be there?
Whoa, so many questions that I love. So, first of all, we all know that the real single-player content for Heroes of Might and Magic is random maps that you, like random Excel maps that you generate and play for a week against the computer. And that will be there. But in all seriousness, though, we are working on the campaign, and the first act that we will release in early access will be, let's say, around 6 hours. It will depend on like the way you play it. So like if you choose a lower difficulty and skip battles, or you know, if you try your very, very best to do a challenging thing, but it will be long. What were the rest of the questions? And yes, there will also be custom maps, like a number of custom maps on release as well, of course.
And you will be able to play on randomly generated map.
Yeah,
yes. In single player. I guess a lot of people like that since Heroes 3 is final. And of course, all multiplayer features will be there as well.
Okay, as we hear, there will be a lot of new mechanics, also old mechanics. Some people are thinking that the game can be overcomplicated. Is there any, I don't know how to say, introduction for the new players to make this game easier for them before the start?
That's a great question. I've heard about it several times already. So one thing that I want to make clear is that we do not want to make the core of the game simpler. Because at its heart, Heroes of Might and Magic is a strategy game, and the longevity of strategy games lies in their complexity. The game needs to be mechanically complex and have a lot of interlocking systems so that people can find various ways to play it, can improvise, like can interact with the game a lot. And that is something that will stay. What we can do is make the onboarding easier. So create a really great tutorial that explains all the concepts, that like draws the player in more slowly. We will do that. We are considering adding some sort of like Civilopedia-like thing to the game that would again explain the concept. So an encyclopedia to reference, maybe. Not done yet, but we are considering this feature. We also have like, I don't know if it sounds odd for you as a veteran, but we feel that the arena mode is actually not a bad way to jump into the game without learning everything. So like you don't need to learn how to explore the map and how to play the economy game. You can first start from learning how to fight. So you draft in arena, you draft a hero, you draft skills, spells, artifacts, and armies, and then you just are transported into a single battle. So less concepts to learn, you know. Like it's my personal suspicion that maybe some newcomers will start from there, for example, and then you know maybe move on to more complex play.
Well, our feeling, I just want to add to sense that our feeling that the successful game should be, easy to learn, hard to master. So that's why we will create. We hope we will create the great tutorial, and we will introduce the game mechanics step by step. And we definitely don't want the game to be very complicated. We want that to be deep.
Okay, I found an interesting question. Will the game have mod support? Do you think about this?
So at the beginning of early access, there will be map editor, and it already exists. It's actually quite deep already, and other things require the game to be complete. So if we will decide to introduce some kind of mod support, it should be done after 1.0 version for sure, because we should finish the main mechanics of the game to fix everything and so on.
Okay, I see question here. I have a question about matchmaking. Right now we have lobby where we can choose with whom we play. Will that change into queue like that forces you to accept the match with someone with similar ranking, or will that stay the same? So
we'll have both.
Okay, so there will be matchmaking system which connects you with the player with the same MMR, right? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And you can create your own custom games. Nobody prevents you to do that. It will be off the ranking system, of course. Ranking system will work with matchmaking. To do to put the players in the same position. So the matches should be fair and so on. Yes, based on some kind of MMR. Yeah.
Okay, according to matchmaking, on the I will say normal mode with all heroes playing, how do you choose template you will be playing with your opponent on the matchmaking?
There will be some kind of draft system.
Okay.
Alexander, can continue.
No. Draft system for classic mode? Did you mean that we intend to rotate official templates in matchmaking?
Yeah, you can. I'll explain it simply. Maybe in the future, actually, this thing is already exists. In the future, we will release the video and we'll show it to you. But long story short, it's some kind of draft system when you are able to ban some templates. So there are 3 templates, for example, in the rotation. So first you ban some template number 1, and your opponent bans template number 2, and you are playing on the 3rd one.
Okay, that sounds amazing to be honest.
Yes.
And
then you choose hero, and then you choose heroes, and you choose factions. So the same system. It's actually quite interesting, and the people which we show the system were very impressed by that.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask about. After you found an opponent, how do you choose city, what you are be playing, etc.? Is it gold trade like in Heroes of Might and Magic 3 or something other?
Again, the draft system. So I don't want to reveal too much information about it right now. But again, long story short, you will remove some factions from the list one by one with your opponent, and then you will be played on the last one.
Okay,
on the last one. Sorry.
Sounds pretty competitive. Perfect for esports, to be honest. Okay, maybe you catch some interesting questions from chat.
Well, I got some questions from chat about official FAQ. Yes, after this conversation, in a few days, we will release on our Steam page the official FAQ with most common questions. And after that, I'll plan to start providing you with devlogs, revealing our vision and our ideas behind each mechanics, each system in the game slowly, step by step. So because we definitely want to share it with the community, so they will see how we're thinking, how we're looking on some problems, and obviously we'll collect some feedback about it.
Okay, guys, I won't keep you any longer because I'm sure you are tired after Gamescom. And maybe you want to say anything on the end to our viewers?
I definitely want to thank the community for the warm welcome for our project. It was very, very, very long way for us, and everyone in the team was so excited about the announcement and this warm welcome. So thank you. We definitely want to thank you. We are working for you. Let's make the great next Heroes of Might and Magic game together.
Yeah, it's like a dream come true because I've been playing Heroes for, I don't know, like 20 years, I believe. And like the guy who taught me to play Heroes wrote me yesterday and was like, "What? You're making the new Heroes?" And I was like, yes. And it feels kind of symbolic that he taught me the game some years ago, and now I can give back to the community and to the game that I love so much. Obviously, with the great team at Unfrozen and with everyone at Ubisoft who is supporting us. So it's an incredible thing. Yeah, we're very much looking forward to your feedback.
Okay, thank you on behalf of myself and the viewers for your time, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.